Allyson with Rising Point Solutions, here with Sarah of Nola Lending. We're continuing our series of educational videos on credit and mortgages. And we thought it'd be a great idea to go over some of the questions that I get as a credit professional about mortgages. And yeah, I'm not the expert, so I get a lot of questions, and I thought Sarah would be the perfect person to answer them. So Sarah, one of the biggest questions I get is, should I apply for a FHA loan or a conventional loan? And I don't know the answer for that. So
that's a good question. I get that asked a lot as well. So basically, when it comes to deciding what kind of loan program is the best program for you, I would recommend obviously putting in an application. Let's see where your debt to income is, because that's going to play a huge role on maybe the program that we can use. If we know that it's going to be a little bit higher, FHA tends to be the route to go. There's also differences in the loan programs based on how much money you have to put down. So if we know that you don't have a lot to put down, we may look at a rural development loan that's 0% down. FHA has 3.5%, and conventional is as low as 3%. So it really just depends on what you can qualify for, and every person and their credit profile and their application is going to look different. So it really just depends on each individual to see what's going to be the best option.
So it's very, very individual based off of your situation.
Exactly. Yeah.
Another question is, so how much do I need for a down payment? Which kind of ties into what you're talking about, the different programs.
Yeah. So we have, like I said, the program, which is rural development, 0% down, FHA 3.5%, and then conventional as low as 3%. We also have first-time homebuyer programs that can give you assistance to kind of help cover. So like, let's say you can't find a home in a rural development area, you're going to use an FHA or a conventional loan. We may be able to use some type of assistance program to help cover that. Or we can do something like maybe a gift from a family member, or, figure out what's the best way to get that down payment covered if you don't have it. Or if you do have it, let's see what program is going to get you, I guess, say the most bang for your buck, as far as like get you as much as you can without having to either drain your savings, or if you don't have anything saved, like what's the best option, and what numbers are you looking at if you had to save up?
Yeah, and you and I deal with a lot of first-time homebuyer clients that have never purchased a home before. They come to me. It's a lot of credit education, but they have a lot of times parents or relatives that want to help them with the down payment. Yeah. Big lump sums of money. So how do they handle that? Because I know I've heard before that it's like you have to trace everything. So how can they utilize that?
So basically the rule of thumb is if we can't source it, we can't use it. So you always want to have a paper trail. The best thing to do is obviously let your lender know, like, hey, I have a family member, or, whoever is going to give me some money. What's the best way to do this? And depending on what program you qualify for is really going to tell us the best way to go about it. Some programs are as easy as just getting a certified check from the person gifting you the money and bringing it to closing with you. Some programs actually want to source it out of the donor's bank account, which means we would have to get a 30-day statement from them and a certified check. So it really just depends on what program you go with, but definitely let your lender know up front so they can tell you the best way to go about it. So it's simple, because it can get very difficult if, money's kind of thrown around too much.
Yeah, absolutely. And lastly, another question I get is, especially I think from 2020, and so many people are in and out of work, is, what if I need to change jobs in the middle of my purchase? I always tell them don't do it, but what would your advice be?
Yeah, I mean, ideally, however we qualify you, whether that's from your job situation or your credit profile, we ask that it stay the same as much as possible. If you have to make a change, definitely don't be scared to tell your lender what's happening so that we can tell you the best route to do it or what we would need. If you absolutely have to change jobs, we do require, either some type of letter, some type of contract, or a 30 days of pay stubs. So as long as we can get 30 days of pay stubs, you're usually in the clear if you have to change jobs. So it's not a deal breaker, but definitely you want to be open and honest, because we do verify your employment right before closing, just to make sure nothing has changed. So just be honest and we'll figure it out.
Yeah, communication is everything.
Yes.
On the job thing, and I don't know for sure if this is true or not, but is it
Mhm.
true that if you change jobs but you stay in the same industry, that you're in the clear? Like if you're a nurse and you change jobs and you go do something else in the medical industry, that you're fine?
Yes. So some programs want you to stay in the same industry depending on how we're qualifying you. But generally, overall, as long as you've had consistent, stable jobs over the last 2 years, even if it's not with the same employer and sometimes not even in the same industry, you're okay. The only time that we see big issues when it comes to employment is if you're going from being a W-2 employee to a self-employed borrower. Self-employed, there's no guarantee income. So we can't use your previous income, because it's not valid anymore. So just be aware that if you are opening a new business or doing anything that would, bring you into something more self-employed, that it could change your ability to purchase right now. But as far as just having multiple jobs or having to change, generally it's not going to be that big of a deal.
Okay, what about, and I get this question a lot, what about if we have a couple that are trying to apply for a loan and one spouse, like maybe the mom or the husband, who can, which one stays home and doesn't bring in actual income? Can they be on
Yeah,
the?
they can be on the loan. We just wouldn't have any income for them. The only time I would recommend them not being on the loan is if, we're doing maybe a conventional loan and they have a lot of debt associated with their credit. So we may want to just take them off because it might be more than what we can allow. But other than that, yeah, they can be on the loan if they want. We just wouldn't have any income for them, but we would pull their credit and add their debt in just like we would a regular borrower.
And their credit score is just as important as the main applicant.
Exactly.
People don't realize
Yes.
that.
No. So definitely if you are, you're in a relationship, you have a spouse that's interested in being on the loan, whether they have income or not, both people have to have the minimum credit score to qualify. So it's definitely a good thing. If you're looking at your credit, make sure you're looking at both people who are applying for the loan.
Yeah, because you guys take the lower of the two credit scores to base the interest rate off of.
Yes.
So
yes.
It doesn't matter if
so it's important.
The income bringing spouse has a 740 credit score. If their spouse has 640, then you have to base the interest rate on the 640 credit score.
Yes.
So that's why I always tell clients, like if I ever have a client that's referred to me by a lender and they're the only ones on the loan, but the other person might want to be on the loan, is I always tell them, hey, if we're already working on one spouse, you might as well improve the other so they can be on the loan if they want to.
Yeah. And that is something that I'll see, people applying together and maybe one person's credit is good. They didn't even think about the other person. And so sometimes it can kind of cause, us to go back and forth on the best way. So if you can get everyone knocked out at once,
yeah,
is awesome.
Huge benefit.
Oh,
all right, Sarah. Well, I think that answers all the questions I had. Yeah, I think that's great. Just, you guys let us know if you have any credit questions or loan questions. We're here to help.
Yeah. Thank you.